following program is available in high definition on Channel 700. This program is designed and produced by the community with the support of TV Cogeco.
Welcome to Oakville Matters. Thank you for joining us today. Today we're visiting with three people from the Kerr Street Business District. I suppose officially you're the Kerr Street Business Improvement Area. And we have two of Kerr Street's iconic successful merchants and the executive director of the Kerr Street Business Improvement Area, Doug Sams. And our successful business people are Dean MacLean from the Oyster and Mermaid, and we also have Janis Smith, who makes the best cookies in the world, and you can find them at Elmhill Cookies, except on Mondays and Sundays. And what hours?
10 to 5. 10
to 5. It's worth it. I'll tell you that. I've had them. You only have to look at me to tell that I may have had too many. So, Doug, why don't you start with an overview of what the Kerr Street Business District, or BIA, what is it?
Well, basically, we're there to serve as a liaison for the merchants, to promote the area, to get foot traffic on the area. We're the liaison between the merchants and the town. When it comes to any questions they might have, permitting. We have 275 members. Our area is pretty big. Goes down Kerr Street. It also extends down Spears to Woody Road, and down Spears towards the GO train station right before you go under the underpass. And then on Lakeshore, we go down to right before you go over the bridge into Oakville and just past Fortino. So we have a big district. There's a lot of independent shops, a lot of unique shops, a lot of award-winning restaurants, and it's a very user-friendly area. I mean, it's on a great day, it's nice to walk down Kerr Street, and we also have plenty of parking. So,
well, it's good to know that you won't be coming to council and asking us to solve a parking problem. Although, you described, vocally, it sounded like you were describing the capital letter I in terms of the shape of your district. And as I understand it, you're pretty successful. Maybe you will need more parking.
Well, we might. It's interesting because of we don't have a high vacancy rate. We're less than 4%, which is almost like nothing, but we have a big condo, the Empire Ring condo project at the end of Kerr and Spears. That's going to actually put more foot traffic and more people onto the street. And also there's a possibility of some new buildings being built that will attract more business. So as we grow into the future, using space usage for parking, we're hoping that we create more traffic either via feet or cars, and that we would like to have that problem down the road where parking might be an issue.
Now, Janis, how long have you been on Kerr Street?
We're coming up to our 5th year, so this Christmas it will be 5 years.
And have you been tempted to leave or go anywhere else?
I love Kerr Village. Absolutely love it. There's a lot of other businesses that bring our customer demographic into the area. I'm a little bit down from the central area, so but I actually don't mind that because the parking is great, and both ways people can sort of just pull in and slip into the store. So, but I love being in Kerr Village. I would definitely not go anywhere else.
And now, how did you come to pick Kerr Street to open your business?
Well, there are a couple of other places that I looked at. Well, there are many places that I looked at, and through different events that happened in that process, we didn't end up going there. But I ended up in Kerr Village, and I love my landlord, and I love being in the village. It's great. So
was this a situation where you kind of got there without picking it for its qualities and then discovered its qualities and it grew on you?
Well, I lived in the area for 18 years, but it was about 10 years ago before I opened my business, so I knew the area really very, very well. But it's changed so much. So much has changed in Kerr Village, especially in the last like 6-7 years. So it really is a good place to have a business, and especially an independent shop.
So change can be good.
Great, yeah.
So Dean, how long has Mermaid and Oyster been there?
We're approaching our 16th year now.
16.
Yeah.
So now, have you seen change in the last 6 years?
Yes, a lot. When we came 16 years ago, or into our 16th year, I wasn't sure that we'd see 5 years, and that's come and gone. And the diversity of the Kerr Street merchants is greatly increased. I find we don't have the variety is much more broadened as opposed to having 3 or 4 of the same things, which once upon a time was kind of a mainstay in Kerr Village. It's really opened up, and the vast variety of different businesses is really impressive, especially in the last 5 to 6 years.
Yeah, I worked on, I'm trying to remember how long ago it was. I think it was almost 16 years ago. There was a town citizen group focused on, it was called Revitalization and Intensification of Kerr Street. And I can tell you back then, Kerr Street did not resemble anybody's idea of a success story. Mm-hmm. And it led to a really interesting contrast with other parts of Oakville. All over Oakville, people have we don't all have the same attitude towards change and growth. In some parts of town, growth is evil and nobody wants it, and in other parts of town, they're tired of being vacant, they're tired of low foot traffic, and they want growth. The Brawny Village and the Kerr Street area were the two. Back 5-6 years ago, when we were doing the new official plan for the town, these two areas stood out for their desire to have intensification, to have more people live and work in the area. And Doug, you mentioned the Empire Tower, and I guess, is the second tower going up yet?
They haven't started on it yet, but it looks like they cleared out the temporary office, and I think they're just waiting to finalize some documentations.
So that's going to bring how many more residents?
Probably another 1,200, 1,500 residents. So.
Yeah. And that should have an impact on the upper end of the district as well as the entire district.
Yes, yeah, it should, because we have. There's the mall up there with Shoppers Drug Mart, another mall across the street. Plus, those people can go to their condo, they can park, and it's an easy walk for them down Kerr Street. In fact, on a nice day, I mean, a lot of times if I want to go visit a merchant or something anywhere in Kerr Street from Spears down to Lakeshore, I'll just walk. And so, that with the residents of the condo bringing in that many more people will be on also foot traffic on Kerr Street Fresh, which makes it better for everybody.
Yeah, you have a very active community. You've, at the time that we were doing the OP, I think you had 4 active residents associations on, behind you in different parts, and you and all of those residents associations brought a very strong message to council wanting growth in your area. That mall that you're talking about has permissions as a result of that effort by you and your residents associations to transform itself into mixed use with even more residential. So you could be on the verge of something very big, especially since Oakville seems to be continuing to be a very attractive place for people to want to live. In fact, I think the Brawny folks are kind of jealous of the way yours has taken off, and theirs has not really taken off yet. So what's the biggest thing that people don't know about Kerr Village besides its interest and its success at growing?
From my experience and customers that come into the store, I think there's a lot of people that don't know about Kerr Village. They just don't even know it's there. Different parts of Oakville, Glen Abbey, northern parts of Oakville, they don't know that Kerr Village because they don't ever come down there, so they don't really, isn't something that's on their radar. I think the biggest thing that people don't know is that I really think that we have the largest collection of independent shops in Oakville, food shops, restaurants, you know, independent shops. And I think that's really something to be proud of and to grow on.
Now, Dean, do you guys do business with each other on the street?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, I find most of the merchants support one another. It's you know, if one's winning, the other one should be winning as well, and especially with the variety of different businesses, and you don't find anybody competing against each other. We're just working with one another, and for sure, you know, when I see Janis at BIA board meetings, or just when we're speaking today, you know, one of the first questions that we ask each other is, "How's your business doing?" and vice versa, and I find our fellow merchants are genuinely concerned and happy to find out that you're doing well, and we share the same feelings. So it's very good to work with.
When I remember I presided over your founding meeting when you were setting, you know, when you became chair of the BIA, and I was struck by how extensive the participation was in the board that was coming together at that time, and there really was a sense of all pitching in to help everyone. Has that survived?
Yeah, for Kerr Village BIA, I find we're an extremely functioning board. Not that we don't have our trial and tribulations like any other board would, but we're functioning, and we're working towards a common goal for the merchants and residents of Kerr Village. And the one thing that's impressive to me is we have no turnover, zero turnover on board members in the last 5 years, and actually we have a waiting list of two or three people that would like to join the board. So I'm not sure if every BIA board's like that, but ours is extremely functioning and very healthy.
So Doug, have you seen other BIA boards in your experience?
Yes.
This one, would you? I don't know if you'll agree with this, because we've never talked about this, but their board has struck me as having the highest marks for two things that I think are really important. One is, I'll call it cooperation, and the other is self-reliance. I've never seen a volunteer board of this type, not just in the business improvement area field, but that's so self-reliant. And each one brings a different bag of skills, and they work it out cooperatively. Is this unusual? Is it common?
Well, for us, it's very positive, but I can tell you that I'm a member of, since I've been the executive director here, I've gone to the OBIA conference. I'm also now a member of the Ontario Business Improvement Association board. And I've heard some stories about other boards, how they don't have full boards, and the relationships with their own merchants and the town, and I would say we're very blessed. And so I think in other areas, some boards are like ours, some boards aren't. Everything's not the same, but what we're saying here, we're in a very positive situation, positive experience with our board. And when I hear the stories, when I go to talk to other BIAs, I count my blessings. So,
well, after a short message, I think we should come back to this, and everything's not rosy anywhere, and we'll talk about what might be new and what might be going on in the Kerr Street business improvement area success story. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Today we're talking about the Kerr Street Business District success story. And we have Doug Sams, the Executive Director of the Kerr Street Business Improvement Area, and we have Janis Smith, who is the proprietor of the best cookie shop in town. I hope I don't I hope I don't oversell, and Dean MacLean, the business owner of the Mermaid and Oyster, but also the chair of the Business District Board of Directors. Doug, before the break, I was asking you about I was asking all of you guys if the spirit of the group had held for the last 5 years, because it was remarkable 5 years ago, and you're saying it has, and that as a member of the Ontario Business Improvement Association Board, you've discovered that there are horror stories out there. So is a success here, is it just chemistry and we're lucky with the mix, or is it that success makes everybody more successful? What's behind this?
I think there's a couple of things. I think we got a good group of people, quality people from various backgrounds, because not everybody's just from one independent business sector. And quality people, even though we may have our disagreements, they all get along. We have a full board, which I know not all boards have that. We have 12 members, including the representative from town council. And I think when the board accomplishes something, or something's done in a positive manner, I think it does. Success builds another success, and people feel good about that, and they want to be part of that team. That's how I look at it.
Just for the sake of the name check, who's your council representative?
Kathy Duddick.
So Kathy Duddick, of course, is a very hard-working member of council. She's not only on town council, she's on the regional council. Yeah. But she still finds time to show up?
Yes, she does. She shows up at every meeting. And also, we had a kind of a bonus member. Pam DeMoff joined us in the last year as a ex officio member because her and Kathy are both from Ward 2, but now of course, Pam got elected to Parliament, so
you graduated her to another arena.
To another arena, that's right. But Kathy has been a constant for us, and her counsel is always much appreciated.
From the shop owner perspective, the new retail strategy, Janis, do you have a view on that? Is it helping you? Is it helping others?
I think, I listened to the report and was part of that committee, and I think the suggestions that they made are really good. I think they're going to sort of move the street forward and continue on its growth pattern. And I think, there's some really interesting things, but it was a good report, wasn't it?
Very good report.
Yeah, it was great.
So you've had a combination of good support from the town and growth, and a really apparently good mix of businesses. Dean, in the time that I've known you, I've seen you expand. That usually doesn't happen unless some kind of success is happening.
Yeah, I think over the course of time, you develop a certain customer base and clientele that you hope increases sales and increases business, and with that, if you get an opportunity to grow, which we did, one small shop turns into one that's a little bit larger, so we had an opportunity to expand, and again, it was our option to either do that and stay in Kerr Village or look elsewhere. And my thought process hasn't changed in that in the last 16 years. Our hearts, Denise and I, are to stay in Kerr Village, and we'd like to continue to do so. So we're happy.
Well, one of the things I like about your example is the way you've been free. I mean, you've been able to experiment and survive an unsuccessful experiment and then go on to success. And I wonder, to what extent, Doug, does the street embody that spirit?
I think it does. I think people came there with the idea of maybe not knowing how long they were going to stay or how it was going to go, how it would go, but they kind of found their niche. And each business, I will tell you one thing that we learned from the retail study. We've developed a loyal following down there. So, and so that's the challenge. You keep those people that you have, but you get new people to come down and discover Kerr Village. So we do have a loyal following, and I think that people feel good about the area. It reminds them of something. I've had people tell me, this reminds me of the neighborhood where I came from. It's easy to get around, and it's easy for the folks from the neighborhood just to walk over on a nice day, bring their kids, walk down the street. It's much better than it was 12 to 14 years ago. So Yeah, I think that once they get in there and they get a loyal customer base, then it's easy for them to expand too.
Yeah, I've witnessed shopkeepers greeting their customers by name.
Yep.
And it's put me in mind of that long-running TV show Cheers, where the song was, about a bar where everybody knew your name, and this is starting to feel like the street where everybody knows your name.
And if you've been there, like as these two have, you're on a first name basis, and people, it's just like, we had a barber when I came there, best barber I've ever had, Joe the barber. And unfortunately, after the first year I was there, Joe unfortunately passed away. So I sent out an email to people saying so-and-so has passed away, and they said, who is that? So I realized I used his real name. I had to email back, it's Joe the barber. Oh, okay. So yeah, everybody, it was kind of like Cheers. Everybody knew your name, and everybody kind of was on a first name basis and had a niche and a nickname, and which makes it much more unique.
So let's talk a little bit about the future. What challenges are you trying to deal with? No one anywhere ever has only roses. Surely you have a thorn or two among your roses.
I think retail, the whole climate of retail is changing, and I think that a lot of people are moving out and shopping in malls. I think that we need to really we really need to have something that brings people into Kerr Village, and that's why we need that mix. So I think the whole retail climate, people are shopping online now. People are shopping in different ways that they weren't shopping 10 years ago, 8 years ago. So, but I think one of the advantages we have is that we have different shops and restaurants that aren't available in some of the big malls. So
a lot of the commercial analysis advice that we've received at the town to try to help you has said that the retail that's most likely to survive is the retail that you can't get on the internet, where a relationship with the person and a trust level with the provider is really important. When when Dean shucks an oyster, I know I'm not going to get sick, and if I ordered oysters over the internet, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be happy.
And I think the Janis hit it on the head, like the uniqueness. Like, what do we have that's just Kerr Village in general is unique. It's different. I know before I came, I had that vision that I wanted that corner store shop with the awning that you seen, kind of like when the King of Kensington was on the 70s, when they showed the opening, all the little shops and stuff that had that unique awning and stuff, and just kind of had a certain look and feel to it. And same again with Elmhill cookies and numerous other shops in the street. We have to be different. We can't be too modernized with the big box stores and everything, because we just can't compete with them in the first place. So what can we offer? And again, for us individually, I know when somebody comes in to buy a piece of fish, we show them how to cook the fish, tell them how we can show them how to shuck an oyster, and just try to do that little extra service that you won't get elsewhere.
So we're going to call you the King of Kerr?
No, sure not.
I think it'd be so lovely and colorful, though. One of the things that I've been perplexed by in all the business improvement areas is the participation level of the landlords seems to be low. And yet they're the ones who pick the replacement businesses when one turns over. And one of the things that the J.C. Williams report focused on was you have to have the right mix. And so it's very frustrating to look at that and go, but we have no ability to like, the town doesn't get to choose, and I imagine the BIA doesn't get to choose either. No,
we have a great rapport with our people that run the business, but sometimes contacting the people that own the building where the businesses rent from has been very frustrating. So that has been an issue, because sometimes we have to relay messages not just to the person running the business, but to the landlord that owns the property. Mm-hmm. And it's like what you're saying, it's very hard sometimes to get a hold of those people.
I think we need to turn our collective minds to this question of how do we get them more involved, how do we get some influence with them. In the same way that we gave, we hired a world-renowned outfit, J.C. Williams, to give retail advice. And there's been times, maybe not on your district, but in others, where I've worried that maybe the landlords need some world-class advice, and because ultimately they're the ones that are making the mistake sometimes in who they put in. And
that's a very valid point. I know when we were working with J.C. Williams, we had to give them a list of merchants to talk to and other people, and we got a very poor response from the landlords themselves that own the building. So that was not only frustrating for us, but frustrating for them too. And you're right, we would like to be a little bit more in the know who they're talking to fill the business, who we might be able to recruit to put in there to keep. One of the things that the retail strategy outlined is we want to keep our independence status, but we want to offer a variety of things, not duplication of things that have already been there, which has been a problem in the past. It's getting better, but we want to continue to move in that positive direction.
Yeah, there are parts of town where sometimes you wonder how many nail shops can one block support.
Yeah, and people want variety, and they want choice, and they want when you can walk down a street and see different things. That's what they don't want to see, the same things. I do not believe. So
now, so I'll just say, it sounds like you'd be willing to work with the council on trying to figure. I mean, we need to invent some tools here if we're going to crack this nut.
We would love to. We would love to.
And finally, in the minute we have left, how much does one BIA work with the other two BIAs in town?
We have quarterly meetings, and which your Gord Lalonde and your town hall staff sits in on, and we've done a couple projects together, and I think that relationship we've tried to develop, I know, since I've been here, and it's better to work because we're three distinct BIAs. Kerr is very different and unique from downtown and from Brawny, so there's no reason why we shouldn't work together.
Have you explored seeking back office efficiencies or any other kinds of things to keep your costs to your members down?
Yeah, we've actually talked about the budget process, about all of us using the same type of software to develop budgets and those type of things, perhaps sponsor in terms of raising sponsorship dollars, because there are companies out there, if you pull your money, they will help raise sponsorship monies for each area. So we have some discussions, and
that's super. That's a very promising way to end this discussion. And obviously many more discussions need to be had in order to pursue. Thank you very much for being part of the discussion today on Oakville Matters.